money, we be looking like a ton of gold. We the Bills, everything about to change. Make it rain, but the weatherman just said we about to shovel snow. We bring the blizzard, gon' blitz on you, don't you blink. Competition say bird like we skating up on the ring. We don't think about the labels, but labels is what you think. We gon' just skip the tables and grab me another drink, yeah. Everybody losing, then we moving to the playoffs. Going to the Super Bowl is always on the radar. Get us in the brain, we about to get a brain. Yeah, we get the sauce, I ain't talking about the wings. You ain't never been cold, we gon' show you what it feel like. Prime time, now we walking through the field lights. Yeah, it's a nice city, I'ma show you how we living in the Bills life. Had to do the work every day just to feel the way you feel on top. Sucking through the tears and ain't so much time we keep this game on lock. They don't wanna play when we're going and we running on the field non-stop. Buffalo Bills and we circle around the wagon till the wheels fall off. Ain't no stopping us. Made us be the mafia. Yeah, you do the deal. We the cool red and blue in uniform. I'm not shocked. Never play with this team. You got me. Throwing it down the field. You know it's the passion. In the parking lot, got the grillers and the drinkers. Party in the morning while I'm laying on my bangles. Running on the legs, looking like it's damn paid. AFC, the team to the east. We can feel this, so we gonna claim what is yours. And the race, I'm messing with the clicks, so just let it up again. Yeah, we destined for the win, that's a 716. I had to do the work every day, just to feel the way it feels on top. Sucking through the tears and ain't so much time we keep this game on lock. They don't wanna play when we're going and they running on the field non-stop. Buffalo Bills and we circle around the wagon till the wheels fall off.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of I'll Hang Up Listen. Special Bills edition tonight because I know Bills Mafia is absolutely locked and loaded after just, I mean, what other word can you say other than dominating win over the defending Stanley Cup champions. Sorry, I know I'm the hockey guy. The defending Super Bowl champions, the Los Angeles Rams, by a final score of 31-10. And honestly, it should have been a lot more than that. Josh Allen, up until that McKenzie, scuff where, threw it right, perfect throw, laser right at him, and, tried to catch it with his body instead of his hands and bobbled it and lost the ball. And, had he caught that ball, Josh would have been perfect 14 for 14 on that drive, up until that point. So, but it just absolutely just dominating the Rams, just dominating. Turnovers, which I feel like in the past would have been costly, tonight just weren't. You obviously don't want to turn the ball over, but they didn't hurt us tonight against, again, arguably coming into tonight, a Super Bowl contender, a team that's gonna be, a favorite out of the NFC. Obviously you have teams like the Packers and the Rams, your top two, probably your favorites coming out of the NFC, and going up against the Bills. And when's the last time we opened up the season in primetime? Just wild. And to be on that national stage with so much pressure on you and to come out and play the way they did, firing on literally all cylinders. Singletary looked great tonight. Zach Moss looked good tonight as well. Everything was clicking for this team. And I'll get to the stats in a second, but just from watching the game downtown on Chippewa at the train wreck crew, everything was just going right for the Bills. Tipped balls going into hands of defensive backs, or defensive linemen. It was just great. And, Jordan Poyer, even though on the Cooper Cup, he probably would like to have played that one differently on the Cooper Cup touchdown, but just showing out why he's been a ball hawk for the Bills ever since he put on a Bills uniform. Gregory Rousseau, big night. Von Miller in the homecoming back at LA in a different uniform this time, and representing the red, white, and blue in Buffalo. 2 big sacks, and just an absolute game breaker for the Bills tonight. It's going to open up so many more opportunities for other players on this defense, like your Ed Olivers, like your Gregory Rousseaus, your Boogie Bashams. Just the havoc that he's going to create, the double coverage that he's going to, demand is going to open up so many other opportunities for players in this team. Tremaine Edmonds, kind of jumps to mind. It's just, a guy that's kind of struggled to find his identity over the last few years and, is probably looking for that big payday. Well, with a guy like Von Miller on defense for Buffalo, maybe this is the year that a guy like Tremaine Edmonds finally breaks out. Who knows, And can't forget other games like Matt Milano, another name that we and our rookie defensive backs that just really showed out tonight. You have to be happy with the way Elam played. And with how much they absolutely dominated the Rams tonight. To have a guy to know that at week 5, you're probably getting Tre'Davious White back to add to this defense after what you saw them do tonight to, again, a very potent Rams offense. I mean, holy shit. It makes me want to do the shout song. If I didn't have a tenant upstairs sleep or not, I would be doing the shout song. It is almost 1:00 in the morning, but I felt really compelled to get out here and get in front of this and talk to you guys because I know I'm as much of an avid Sabres fan as I am, as much of an avid hockey fan I love the Buffalo Bills, man. Like, you asked me about any game during the drought years, I could probably tell you where I was, who I was with. We're talking about the most heartbreaking games too. The Monday night game against New England and Dallas. We'll tell you exactly where I was, where I was when the Bills finally beat the Patriots. And I love the Buffalo Bills, man. And I've been through it all just as much as I've been through with the Sabres, but you finally see everything come full circle for this city, to see, first time being a Super Bowl favorite since the early 90s. There's no other city that deserves this more than us. And I couldn't think of a better way to start this season than just absolutely smacking the piss out of the defending Super Bowl champions. I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming. So tonight was just so much fun to be downtown around Bills. One thing I do appreciate too, when you're just surrounded by Bills fans, is when you look around and you see just the drought jerseys. We'll call them drought jerseys. I'm wearing a Freddie Jackson jersey. Fans that still appreciate the drought years, the players that, lived through that and battled through that. Guys like Freddie Jackson, guys like Kyle Williams and, your Lee Evans and stuff, in players, Fitzpatrick, all those guys who played for years for the Bills through the drought years. And, you look around you and you see these guys wearing these jerseys just because they appreciated those years. They appreciated those players and what they put themselves through. And, it really is a breath of fresh air. I love when I'm out and about it with, in massive groups surrounded by Bills fans, and you see the drought jerseys because, I appreciate those years, man, because I lived through every one of them, man. I was just as heartbroken as I would have been about the Sabres every single year when we were officially eliminated out of the playoffs. Those 8-8 years, 9-7, 7-9, 6-10, all those seasons where we were just honestly just like you were giving glimmers of hope, here and there, but usually by like week 12 or week 13, it was all hope was almost gone. And now you come into a season like this where the expectations have never been higher. As a Super Bowl, you're favored across the board by most analysts to win the Super Bowl. And, in past, I feel that other Bills teams in the past with this kind of pressure, not that they've ever been in this position, would have crumbled under that pressure, but not this team. Not with the leadership on this team, not led by Josh Allen coming out of that tunnel every single Sunday or whatever night they tend to be playing. It's, more and more primetime games this season, but led by guys like Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Now you add Von Miller to the mix, and guys like Jerry Hughes in the past years who have really helped shape those guys to be better players. I know people don't like talking about, but Cole Beasley had a big impact on Josh Allen and his development because that guy was such a security blanket for him for the past couple seasons. You don't just catch 80 balls, and most of us know why he's not on a team right now. But he had caught 80 balls last year, 80 or more, I think it was. So, like, to have that type of guy in your back pocket as a developing quarterback who's you can trust that you put the ball near him, he's going to run the right route and catch the ball, and he's not going to drop it, he's not going to fumble it. So to have that guy for the first, so odd years of his career, that was huge for his development. And then to bring in Stephon Diggs to make that blockbuster trade for Diggs, to get you an elite wide receiver. And then you draft a guy like Gabe Davis, who, again, expectations have never been higher for a kid like this. And he showed out tonight. I think it was like 4 catches for a touchdown and almost 90 yards. The guy is as advertised, big, and he's fast, and he can go up there and catch the ball. So, and the depth on this Bills team has never been better. I find me a team since the 90s Bills has been this deep at all positions. You just can't. You can't. So, with that being said, we have a few comments here. Wasn't expecting the Bills to blow out the Rams. Matt Stafford was making dumb passes all game. Couldn't agree with you more, Keen. Like Stafford, just I think in most fantasy leagues he had like 8 points tonight. He just did not look good at all. There's that one no look pass to Kupp that ended up getting picked off. Like, we've seen him make that pass and complete that pass plenty of times, especially to a guy like Cooper Kupp. But he a little too cocky there. The ball got away from him a little bit, and tips Kupp's hands. And sure, I think it was Poyer just there to pick up the scraps and pay that man. I think, for me, I would have pulled the Miro Shatan ready for you trade. Call me, and do one of these, pay me. I think Poyer is probably next in line to get a payday here. And, I hope, man, again, I think he's, he wants to be here. I think he's a Buffalo Bill through and through, and I hope they do pay him as long as the contract and the term are right. So, with that being said, I'm going to pull up some stats here that are really just not even just jaw dropping of what the Bills were able to accomplish tonight. In the second half with that 10-10 tie, Bills' first 3 drives were 3 TDs in a row with absolute bombs of 47 yards to Gabe Davis and another 53-yarder to Diggs. Rams' first 3 drives after coming out of the half, punt, and punt. Total 46 yards in those 3 drives. Like, to literally, and again, regardless of who they lost, OBJ, Von Miller on D, like, that's still a very, very, very dangerous offense in Los Angeles. And to sit there and limit their first 3 drives coming out of halftime when they start with the ball, 3 punts in a row, that's insanity. Absolute insanity. This also just in the last hour case of incident, Bills defensive tackle Ed Oliver is in a walking boot after the game. That's not good news because a lot of high expectations for him, especially, again, with the addition of Von Miller, the types of opportunities that would open up for a guy like Ed Oliver. So hopefully, whatever this is, it's not, devastating or long-term for his season. From Seth Walder on Twitter, Josh Allen's 13.6 mile per hour at the time of throw on the TD pass to Stephon Diggs is the fastest a quarterback has been running on a completion of at least 50 air yards in the next-gen stats era since 2016. I mean, we all already know this. Josh Allen has a cannon, but on the run, like, that's absurd. Absolutely absurd. Some more stats. In addition to the franchise record for completion percentage from Josh Allen, Bills offense averaged 7.1 yards per play, went 2-2 in the red zone, and were an unbelievable 90% on third down, converting 9 out of 10 third down opportunities. It's come from Howard Simon on Twitter. And the Bills defense held the Rams to 243 net yards, 2.9 yards per carry, 7 sacks and 3 picks, and stopped LA on 8 out of 10 drives. Just unbelievable. And you got to remember, we don't even have Trey White right now. Like, we can still add Tre'Davious White to this mix, which is going to be huge, absolutely huge, come week 5, as long as he's healthy. And, like, I don't blame, I mean, I'm not sure, if them putting on the pup list is just kind of like a precautionary thing, or if he definitely wasn't ready to play. I don't know the full story on that, but with how talented this defense is, how fast this defense is, how experienced some of the players in this defense are, I mean, zero issue with starting the first 4 games of the season without Trey White. And when he gets back, he's 100%. He's healthy. He's ready to go. I mean, good luck lining up across from that defense. Have fun, because it's not going to be an easy night for any offense, especially when you add Tre'Davious White to this mix. Again, I'll repeat, the Bills defense tonight held the Rams to 243 net yards, gave up 3.7 yards per play, 2.9 yards per carry, 7 sacks, 3 picks, and stopped the Rams on 8 of 10 drives. That is fucking absurd, bro. Absurd. And you don't have Tre'Davious White. You don't have Tre'Davious White. And in the second half, you had a rookie starting at corner. And Elam, a guy like that, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to fill the shoes of a Tre'Davious White, but he really held his own out there. And even Jordan Poyer said, with both the rookie defensive backs, like they have all the confidence in these guys in the world. They support them being out there. Obviously, you should, but like they have all the confidence in these kids in the world, and it's so much fun to watch them play and just dominate on defense. Another fun stats with Duane. Tonight is Josh Allen's 7th career game with 3 passing TDs, a rush TD, which is 3rd in most in NFL history. First being Drew Brees, second being Tom Brady. I guess when you play that long, even though you don't run the ball, it's bound to happen for you a few times. And Josh Allen with 7, and he's still so early in his career, man. He might take over 1 overall by midway this season. Honestly, it's been so much fun. Just through training camp and preseason, all just the optimism and the expectations of this team, to see them go out there against the fucking Rams and absolutely smack the piss out of them. Unbelievable. Like I said earlier, if I could do the shout song right now, if I'd have somebody sleeping upstairs, I absolutely would. Again, it is exactly 1:00 in the morning, but I felt compelled to fucking get out here and talk to you guys. Because again, I am not just a crazy fucking Sabres fan. I fucking love the Buffalo Bills, man. Like I said, I have like 5 or 6 drought jerseys in my closet. A Josh Allen jersey, hopefully soon. I don't take the drought years for granted, and that's why this is all feels and tastes so much sweeter. And all the build up to what tonight was going to be, and just I think so many questions were answered. The Bills are the real fucking deal. They went out there and they beat the shit out of the defending the defending Super Bowl champions. And if there were ever doubts about Josh Allen coming into this game, if he could really be the MVP quarterback that everyone's pretending to be, I think those questions were answered, because obviously those 2 picks weren't on him, especially the one that was right into McKenzie's body. He should have tried to catch it with his hands, tried to catch it with his body, and got stripped of the ball. But like to throw 2 picks like that and still be winning the way they were and dominating the way they were, now with a defense like this, you can go out there, you can take chances offensively, you can go for on more 4th downs, because your defense is back there. They're going to bail you out. It's so much like when the Sabres had Dominic Hasek. How many of those players would say that? I remember Michael Pekka to say, when you have a guy like Hasek back in net, you can take so many chances in the offensive zone, because you have a guy like that that's going to bail you out. That's what this team is with this defense. You can take those chances. You can go for maybe a 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, near midfield, because you know what? You have fucking best defense in the NFL. Sitting there waiting, salivating on the sidelines, waiting to get out there and get you the ball back, whether it be forcing a punt or getting a pick or, forcing a fumble. That's such, to have that, 2-headed monster that is the Buffalo Bills. So exciting, and we haven't seen this in a very, very long time. And I want to bring, I tweeted it out yesterday. I tweeted out the meme of the quote from Jalen Ramsey calling Josh Allen trash, and it did some numbers on Twitter. But I really do want to bring that back up, because it's just so much fun talking about Josh Allen versus Jalen Ramsey, because he really, like, he's undefeated against Ramsey on any team he's been on. But from Warren Sharp, Josh Allen's stats versus Jalen Ramsey's teams: 3-0, 11 total touchdowns, 70% completion, 9.3 yards per attempt, a plus 0.22 EPA per attempt, 60% success rate, and 8 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns for 6.3 yards per carry. And the quote was from Jalen Ramsey back when the Bills drafted Josh Allen: "I think Allen is trash. I don't care what nobody say. He's trash. And it's going to show too. That's a stupid draft pick to me. We play them this year, and I'm excited as hell." You want to know what? And he did walk it back. He did humbly try to walk it back. But, Bills Mafia doesn't forget stuff like that. We don't forget, and we do keep the receipts. And that one especially, every time you play against Jalen Ramsey, you got to bring that up. So it's absolutely I'm trying to find the exact numbers of when throwing at Jalen Ramsey, what it is. I'll trying to find it here. It's got to be somewhere. But regardless, like, his numbers when throwing directly at Jalen Ramsey are like staggering, like stupid good. Like, he just, and again, it's just fun. Here we go. Tonight, Jalen Ramsey allowed a perfect passer rating of 158.3 per Pro Football Focus initial grading. He was targeted 7 times, allowing 6 receptions for 124 yards and 2 TDs. Not to mention that Diggs touchdown where Diggs fell and still able to get in the end zone. What the fuck was Jalen Ramsey doing, man? No idea what Jalen Ramsey was doing. It, like, mind blowing to me that that he just looked that bad tonight. So and that's one of the league's top corners. I don't care what anyone says, he still is. Like, the guy is extremely talented. A lot of teams would love to have him in their backfield. They're not in the backfield on their team. And, to sit there and put up those insane numbers against, when you target a corner like that, unbelievable. What else is there to say? So with that being said, we go into week one, and absolutely, again, spank the defending Super Bowl champions. And then we get ready for, our home opener against, the Titans. And, I was in Tennessee last year when the Bills fell short. Josh Allen wasn't able to punch it in there at the end of the game when they went for it on 4th down. A lot of people questioning the play call. Dable, Allen slipped, this, that. Like, I was there for that heartbreak. It sucked. It absolutely sucked to sit there at the end of that game and walk out a loser when your team lost Derrick Henry that day. I think he had 4 touchdowns. So, but I think you have a whole different defense coming. You do have a whole different defense, and this stadium, Highmark Stadium, the Ralph, as I still call it, is going to be hyped on Sunday. Or I'm sorry, I'm not Sunday, on Monday night. I'm sorry, another back-to-back primetime games. When's the last time you can say about a Bills team? Monday Night Football at 7:15. That stadium is going to be rocking. People are going to be out tailgating in the morning out there. They're going to be drunk and rowdy and fucking ready to absolutely punch the Tennessee Titans in the mouth. And by the way, if you are going to the game or just having a party with friends, make sure you get to Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on George Ribbon Boulevard.
Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
And we're back. But remember, get to Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case for your tailgating needs this Monday night. Or, again, if you're having a Bills party, I'm sure, I'll be at one. Or I'll be out tailgating with the Train Wreck crew. We'll see. But home opener, Monday night, 7:15 against the Tennessee Titans. And you have to realize, like, Derrick Henry, it's going to be night and day different for him than the defense he played against last year. against, I think he had at least 3, if not 4 touchdowns. The Bills lost to Derrick Henry. They didn't lose, to Tannehill and that offense. You lost to Derrick Henry. You couldn't stop him. You should and will stop him this coming Monday. And if you don't, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I look at this roster on paper, the defense, and how much better it looks. Again, it hurts obviously not having Tre'Davious White there, but excuse me, but even without him, like you didn't hold Cooper Kupp. He had over 120 yards and a touchdown catch. I think he had like 12 or 13 catches, but still, like, you still held one of the most highest scoring offenses to 10 points on opening night. Don't call it a Super Bowl hangover. Don't call it just, rust or whatever it is. I think that's just how goddamn good the fucking Buffalo Bills are. And they're going to come to Buffalo Monday night, and they're actually knock the piss out of the Tennessee Titans. So I don't got much more for you guys. We've been on for about almost 30 minutes here, but I'll post some of the comments here. And again, just from Michael Lee, turnovers were the only problem. James Cook and Moss need to fix that shit. Couldn't agree with you more. Don't get started on Ramsey. Somebody call the fire on Jalen, because that man was having secondary burns all game. That's a good joke. I love it. From South SoCal 716 fan. Good morning, Duane. Great game by the Bills to start the season. Can't wait for the national sports people's reactions. That's another thing too, man. Like, the Bills have been getting respect across the board this week. Kyle Brandt leading the charge, Mount Up Mafia, and on Good Morning Football. I'm sure tomorrow morning he's going to be on one, ready to tell everybody, I told you so. And trust me, you don't have to tell us, man. We know how good this team was coming in, and they've met all expectations tonight. Any doubters of Josh Allen, I don't know how there could be any. I mean, they have to be, eating their words at this point. Because Josh Allen, even with throwing 2 picks again that weren't involved, he still had an unbelievable game tonight, led the charge for Buffalo, and will continue to do so throughout the season. So if you have him on your fantasy team, as I do in a couple leagues, you got to be happy with tonight's performance and what you're looking at going forward. And could this team be good enough to go undefeated? Am I getting too ahead of myself? I really don't. I honestly, I don't think so. I mean, this is one of the games a lot of analysts maybe picked them to lose. I saw a lot of 13-4 predictions for the Buffalo Bills, and this being one of the games that they're many of them picked the Bills to lose. Well, they just beat the shit out of them. Other games that may, I look at this Titans, and you go to Miami for the Dolphins, in Baltimore week 4, back in Buffalo against the Steelers week 5. The Chiefs, that'll be a tough game. Packers following, that'll be a tough game. You get the Jets, that's a win. Vikings, I'm sorry, that's a win. Browns, that's a win. Lions to win. Patriots a win. Jets a win. Dolphins a win. Bears a win. I personally think the toughest game on this schedule for the Bills, for me personally, is probably the Bengals, because Joe Burrow is the real deal too. And those wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Higgins, even Tyler Boyd, he can still ball out. Like, they're so deadly, especially with throwing the ball. And Joe Mixon's no slouch either. That guy can run the rock down your throat. So I mean, I look at that schedule, man, and I 1, 2, 3, 4. It's tough for me. It's tough for me to pick more than 2 or 3 losses. It's tough. So, I mean, I'm not considering predict an undefeated season, but it's not out of the question, guys. Could the Buffalo Bills be the first team ever to go 17-0? Could it happen? Could this team be that fucking good? I personally think so, because they proved today that they're that deadly on the offensive side of the ball, and they're that deadly on the defensive side of the ball. If they come and play like this every single game, there's literally nothing stopping them. I'm going to call it. They will be the first team ever to go 17-0 if they show up like this every single game. And again, I look at the schedule, and the only game that really scares me is that Cincinnati game. I mean, you go up against Aaron Rodgers, obviously, you're going to get scored on. But I mean, his weapons are far and few in between. You know, he lost Devontae Adams. He still has Aaron Jones, but I mean, who's his number one? Lazard? I mean, I don't know. You know, and then the Chiefs, you know, you don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. You don't have that over-the-top threat. You added Juju Smith-Schuster, but is he really the type of guy that, you know, you just don't replace the Tyreek Hill and how fast, you know, and how deadly that guy is down the field, stretching the field. So I think that's a very winnable game. I think the Packers are a very winnable game. And, you know, I think the two games that really, you know, semi-scare me are maybe the Ravens because Lamar Jackson's always a human highlight reel, and then the Cincinnati Bengals because of Joe Burrow and those receivers. That's a scary offense. So, you know, I'll hang up and listen, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Go Bills. You know, I can't wait to even talk more about the Bills tomorrow at work, around the water cooler. I'm sure all you guys are as well. But thanks for hopping on with me, man, tonight. I couldn't appreciate it more. I'll hang up and listen. Remember to get out to Outlet Liquor, the place to buy case over on George Urban Boulevard. God, I'm tired. But again, I'll hang up and listen. Have a good night, guys. Go Bills. Real quick. Hey, hey!